Charging battery.
Huh, that ended actually rather abruptly. Alright, hey everyone, welcome to another strategic non-compliance. May the 4th be with you! As is, I'm David Werner, and no, there is no Mike Bluehair today, once more. And I'll have more further explanation at the end of the show on that specific issue. But let us go ahead and enjoy some good news coming out of Olmos Park. Oh yeah, and before I forget, today's music was obviously brought to you by TechnoX, figuring out the technicalities. As is, this is great news coming out. So let me go ahead and get this up where everybody can go ahead and see that. And why is that not showing up? Hold on. Why is that not working? Let's see here. There we go. Why did that? Okay. Make sure it works over here. There we go. Alright, so News Now Houston is going to explain something to us if you guys haven't heard already.
Hey guys, just wanted to let you know I just got word that all charges have been dropped against C.J. Grisham and Jim in the Olmos Park arrests. So we are cleared to release the unedited raw video footage, if I can speak right here. So you'll see it popping up on the channel here in a minute. And now we're just waiting for the opportunity to announce to you that Chief Valenciano or some of his officers have been arrested. You know, keep your fingers crossed. That day very likely may be coming. There's still a lot of things going on behind the scenes that you guys don't know about, but I am optimistic that there will be an arrest.
Alright, so the basics are the head of Open Carry Texas there, C.J. Grisham, has had the charges against him dropped. He was the one that got tased by the police chief, I think. Well, was it police chief? By one of the officers And the police chief was right there, live and present, when he got arrested. And, yeah, what was it? Sorry, yeah, Desert Sentinel. No, there is no Mike Blue Hair today, once more. But, getting back onto it. And so, the question is when is everybody else's charges going to be dropped? And I think they, I think he said, hold on.
I can speak right here. So you'll see it popping up on the channel. So, we are cleared to release the Grisham and Jim in the
and Jim, okay, yeah, and Jim, the other guy who was also arrested on that same day. Now, as is, there's still pending charges against some of the other people that have been involved with the open carry protests over there in Olmos Park. Hey, Johnny, no last name. Yeah, but as is, we're gonna see it. As is, Olmos Park, their attempt to crush the rebellion has ended, well, is ending in a spectacular failure cascade. And so let's go ahead, and since they released the footage, let's go ahead and go over the raw footage that News Now Houston ended up releasing. I think that's his perspective. We already saw from a prior show the perspective from CJ's camera, but we never saw it from this angle.
Right behind you!
felony stop.
We need to get off.
No, not yet.
Yeah, he's got his gun out.
Yes, we need to get out.
No, not yet.
Hang on, Joanna.
Give him a chance to get involved.
It's the same fucker that put Jack on his knees.
Oh my God.
Let CJ know.
We need to get out.
Not yet.
Hey, CJ.
Here's the other one coming from the left.
We got 2 cops here, code 3.
Holy shit.
Copy that. They're telling him to get on the ground, face down.
Wait.
I know.
Wait.
I know.
Whoever gets out, open this side door so we can get out.
Oh my God. I want to hear this.
Somebody needs a camera.
Wait.
Close your door, Joanna.
Philip's got his going. Okay, out. Everybody out. Kill the engine.
I have to fucking open this thing, dude.
You don't. There you go.
We got a witness, corrupt cops doing that. You guys are gonna learn.
Fucking learn, asshole.
You have a constitution here and you're gonna learn.
I want to put your gun away. I spoke to your chief yesterday. Lay down on the ground.
You lay down on the ground, motherfucker. Lay down on the ground, asshole. You're the only dangerous motherfucker out here. Lay down on the ground. Disarm yourself. Or we will fucking disarm you.
You're committing crimes against citizens.
Are you threatening me? No. Is that what you just said? You're threatening me?
No,
You're committing a felony right now. Are you threatening me? I said no. Okay, you said you're gonna disarm me? That's a threat. I'm taking that as a threat. I have no way to disarm you.
Why are you making up
I'm not
shit?
armed. Hey, I'm not armed. Pay attention to what you're supposed to be fucking doing, asshole.
Not the first time you committed crimes against citizens and
I
ignored your
wasn't even
oath.
talking to you. Talking to the guy with the weapon.
Ignoring your oath to the Constitution, law, Doug.
And how should I put it? It's a civilians. I love Ed Huggard. It's a civilian sting operation, and the lawbreakers took the bait. That is very true. And we're allowed to do our own sting operations.
What Olmos Park does.
Lose your qualified immunity, asshole.
Do what they want. Even after they've been told what the law is, explained to it, some letter after letter after letter, they don't care.
Today's your education, corporal.
Getting education for the citizens today, aren't
At
you?
some point, you're going to realize no crime is being committed.
look at these people. They're just driving through.
Is that a crime? You have no authority here. Get your car and leave.
And now, as we can see so far, everybody else in the area has no problem walking past I mean, you had a guy walk by on a bike, you had several vehicles pass through this scene. The only ones that are overreacting in this situation is the police themselves. Let's go ahead and skip this. Let's skip to right about here.
He's the big dog here.
Chief Kennedy's over here. Put the clock away, sir. Put the clock away.
What's your name?
Put away the gun.
What's your name? What's your ID?
What is your name?
Hey, hey, hey! Officer!
Hey, get your hands off him!
Get your hands off him! Get your hands off him! Hey!
Get back! Go fuck yourself!
There's no wrong, brain broken!
Fucking criminal!
You threw his camera! Chief, you and I spoke on the phone, Chief. Oh! That's right. I can go to jail for...
He tased him!
No crimes committed and y'all attack people, take people,
except for y'all!
ready to shoot people. It's not the first time you've been warned.
You ready for a lawsuit there, officer? Who else next? Because you just smacked my head into the ground. And Chief, you know damn well, because you and I spoke on the phone. You and I spoke on the phone, Chief, so you're doing this.
Now they're attacking him again.
You notice how they shoved the big guy there who wasn't really doing anything? He was perfectly fine where he was at, and just shoved him onto his belly real hard. Let's go back. Let's go ahead and slow this down.
You and I spoke on the phone, Chief.
And there he goes. Look how much... No caution about his face or anything. They just pushed him. Did they... yeah, well, I see the camera. I don't think that part was actually... Was that captured on camera? Hold on, let's speed this up to 75.
What's your ID?
What is your name?
Hands off him!
There, okay, he's got the camera right there.
Hey!
Get back! Go fuck yourself!
There's no wrong, brain broken!
Fucking criminal!
Okay, what happens with that camera? Yep, he sure did, right there. Yeah, it's very clear they're completely out of control. Let's go ahead and slow that down. And we'll back this up a little bit more here. Now, his hand... Okay. He's got the strap clearly on his hand, so there's no way he could, when his hands are restrained like that, to throw that camcorder. And then throws it. Yeah, it's very clear that the officer threw it because this guy's arms could not move to be able to put that much force on the camcorder. Yes, both of them received injuries. Both of them received injuries that did require medical attention.
Call an ambulance for that guy that's bleeding. CJ's been hit in the head. He's bleeding.
And what are you arresting me for?
That is a good question, Aiden.
What are you arresting me for?
What would they have done if there was no one filming?
That man needs medical attention, Chief.
Oh, hold on. Let's back that up a little bit. A little bit. You can see a little bit of the blood right there on the back of his head, right there. Well, yeah, we'll go ahead and try to pull up with the Potosi's footage here in a sec.
Might arrest me, dude, because that dude
All right, I got
said
you.
that I
I
threatened
got you.
him.
I got you.
I'm gonna walk out of Olmos Park.
Okay.
And that's Jim, who he, as PNP News stated, he got a fractured wrist during this incident. Okay.
No longer escort me across the street here.
Across the street.
I'll take that for you, officer. No, you don't have to take it from me.
I got it.
Used to be a
No, they. What you've managed to do is bankrupt the police department. Here is what
And
you've
then-
managed to do.
All gonna get fired. All of y'all.
I don't think all the millionaires here are going to be paying too much attention to you while you're in jail.
Are you Duane Castro by chance?
Are you an asshole by chance?
Are you Duane Castro? The officer's going to come ID you. And I'm letting you know right now that we're going to detain you because you have a warrant for your arrest.
This man's about to assault this woman.
You want me to take the camera?
Please, yeah, take it.
Don't worry, we got your bond.
I know.
I got your
Let's
bond. Don't
take a
worry.
follow.
Good.
SAPD, thank God you're here. Arrest these police officers.
They're probably trying to false charges on her like they've done others.
Yeah.
Officer, these cops.
All three of these officers. Arrest those three
I need
officers.
you to arrest them.
You need to arrest them.
Arrest them. They're
Arrest
felons.
them.
They're felons. I need you to arrest them, or we will.
attacking innocent
Well, I don't know if we
civilians.
will, but somebody will.
Don't say that.
Sorry, somebody will, I meant.
They've attacked U.S. citizens with no crime.
So, we got a general idea of what they did. Let's go ahead and pull up, someone said the Batose has got footage out too, so. So we'll pop over here real fast and... Okay, so I guess this is his angle. So let's take a quick look at this.
Purple mattress blows memory foam out of the bedroom.
Hold on, we'll get past this ad.
Because I was trying to protect my family. I went...
Okay, we'll let this ad run, because that I don't have a skip bar thing on this, so I can't skip past it. And I don't want to wait 3 minutes on that. Oh, and it looks like NJ Diver just threw up the link for that. How they can arrest her with confirming who she... Well, if they've seen her enough times, it's not going to be that hard to say, okay, that is so-and-so. Let's go ahead and arrest them. But as you can see, just the arrogance that these police have over being able to go out there and do no wrong, essentially, is a big issue. Let's see, NJ Civic, all cops want to do is ticket you, lock you up, or put a bullet in your back for paid vacation. I'm not so sure about that, NJ Civic. Well, I can do ad block, but I don't like doing ad block, because I keep forgetting to turn it back off, so. Here we go. We're almost done. It's going to take a second to get past this. Okay, here we go. Got the police showing up.
Olmos Park, once again. Once again, Olmos Park.
There's CJ, there's Jim.
Get away from him, sir. Get away from him. Are you with him? Okay. Are you here to hurt anybody? Do you have a gun as well? Okay.
Well, that's part of politics right there when it comes to dealing with DAs and judges, Russell. Let's go ahead and skip it a little bit further here.
They're learning about the Second Amendment today. Who has never committed a crime because I have not committed a crime.
No, this is Olmos Park, outside of San
Are
Antonio.
you starting to feel dumb yet?
This is Olmos Park.
Are you Renee?
We have two units there. We have a unit there. There's a guy behind that Mercedes there with the handgun. And we have Olmos Park there, another officer with the handgun.
Right there. Right there. Right there.
You're the only one
Okay.
right now. You have no duty to this law-abiding citizen.
Here it goes.
Get on the ground. We're not doing anything.
Get your hands up! I am not Get back! God damn it! We're back! There's no more!
Let's go ahead and slow that down just to get a more dramatic impact of what we saw here. You can see when the taser, the electricity is impacted, well, stops him from being able to maintain balance. And you see also right there with the footwork underneath the T there, where the fat cop there. This is also, if I remember correctly, the same cop that went and knocked the camera out of Buck G's hands in a prior incident. Is trying to trip this dude. Well, what the reason why they arrested him in the first place is completely illegal. Yeah, I sort of agree with you, Dave, just Dave, about wearing a helmet. In fact, I mean, I'm sort of tempted to start wearing my motorcycle helmet at times. But let's go ahead and slow this down, because this is when we have the camera get tossed. So over here on the left. Now let's see what it looks like from this angle. You can see he's got the strap around his knuckle. So, who threw the camera? Oh, wait. You see that? There we go. Clear as day who threw the camera. Yes, that is very possible, Aiden, that he could have been put into a coma.
Now you are all. That's right.
Now let's go ahead and...
My head.
Okay, here we go. This is where we'll be able to see at a slightly different angle. It's about the same as News Now Houston. When he gets pushed down.
And Chief, you know damn well, because you and I spoke on the phone. You and I spoke on the phone, Chief, so you're doing that.
As you can see, they got his hands on his back. Doesn't look like they're actually grabbing anything, and they're just pushing him forward. Slow this down here. Hey, 007.
I spoke on the phone,
And then
Chief, so you're
push. See, all they did was push. No care for where his head's going to be landing or how it's going to be hitting the pavement there. They didn't ease him down at all. They just shoved him right over. Okay, we'll take a quick look at that here in a moment.
There's the law on that paper right there.
You call an ambulance for that guy that's bleeding. CJ's been hit in the head. He's bleeding.
Oh, it's sort of blocked by that. Let's see if he turns it. But you can see there's a clear wound, right? It's just barely visible. See, there we go. You can see it's right there.
What are you arresting me for? What are you arresting me for? What are you arresting me for?
Yeah, so... Oh, wait. Hold on. Oh, yeah, you can see it a lot better with that. Let's see here. Let's back that up.
What are you arresting me for?
Yeah, that might require a stitch or two with the way that looks right there. So... and you have to remember... These guys sat there and over the radio made the statement, we've, like, crushed the rebellion or stopped the rebellion. Like they're freaking the Empire from Star Wars. But, falsifying affidavit. Okay, let's go ahead and look at this.
A disorderly conduct, display firearm, Class B. It has some mental health questions, mental health diversion questions. It doesn't look like any of these were checked or answered. Have you ever been diagnosed with having mental illness? None of that is answered. It goes on to describe you, the arrested person, for information. It gives the charges of the offenses. And they do include the assault on a PC out, the man with the gun who was wearing gray shorts and a brown sweater. I observed the male had a black rifle slung across his chest at the low ready. I observed the male to have a handgun on his right hip. The male subject was later identified as James Everett. They go on and list his date of birth. I loudly ordered the male to lay on the ground several times. The male subject refused. Therefore, resisting all orders given to him. Officer Vieira, badge number 329, arrived on location, arriving from South End Block to assist his cover officer. While ordering the male subject to lay on the ground, multiple males exited a white Dodge displaying Texas license plate KJV 6970. I was able to identify a male subject to be Ferguson Todd. They list his date of birth. Prior police interactions, Ferguson began screaming at me. Ferguson stated that they were going to disarm me. While continuing to order the male subject with the rifle to lay on the ground, he refused all commands given to myself and Officer Vieira. Dispatch was advised to have additional police units make our location due to the fact that there are several subjects, both male and female, surrounding all police units armed with weapons. While attempting to stop all traffic and pedestrians from entering the area, one male subject wearing a...
While trying to stop all pedestrian traffic from entering the area. Did you hear that? I did not see them try to stop the guy on the bicycle from walking through that area.
Bright neon green t-shirt approached me from the rear, armed with a weapon, and continued to walk past me toward the male with the gun. This male subject interfered and has interacted with the man holding the rifle. The man came in between Officer R. Valenciano and Officer Vieira, reportedly ordered the male with the green neon shirt to step away from the other suspect. The male refused to follow commands. Officer Vieira asked the male if he was armed with a weapon, and the male stated he wasn't. It was later confirmed he was armed with a handgun, which was concealed. All subjects refused to identify themselves.
Wow, I can see some lies already. Go ahead, sorry.
That is correct. Batosai, chime in on that one.
It's okay, and it goes on for a while, and these are labeled A, B, C, D. I'm on E now. I observed Officer Vieira, the Chief of Police Valenciano, approach James Everett, who was armed with the black rifle. Everett was standing on the sidewalk, obstructing the passageway. Everett was also holding the assault...
Obstructing the sidewalk. It didn't look like he was obstructing anything to me. It looked like there was plenty of room to walk around them.
Right, assault-style rifle in a manner calculated to alarm.
In a manner calculated to alarm. Last time I checked, slinging a rifle on the front or back or the side does not mean is not meant to calculate alarm. It just means it is ready to use if there is a need.
Dispatch.
Oh, and not to mention also he had a camera in his other hand. So in his probably firing hand, if he was right hand, because that's where the camera was at. So he would have a very difficult time being able to even operate the firearm in a short period of time without having to literally drop and discard the camera when he had the strap around his knuckle on the outside, keeping that nice and firmly held to his to the palm of his hand.
Dispatch received several 911 calls regarding Everett's action. He was approached by Officer R. Valenciano and ordered to identify himself to lay the weapon down. Everett responded by saying that he was not going to do that, and if he wanted, he would have to come and get the weapon from him, therefore interfering with the duties of a public servant. As they approached Everett, I moved closer to provide security while they attempted to detain him. As all officers converged towards Everett, the male wearing a bright green neon t-shirt attempted to stop Officer Vieira from detaining the male subject.
Wow.
Yeah, complete lie.
Wow.
Officer Vieira from detaining the male subject.
Wow.
As all officers converged towards Everett, the male wearing a bright green neon t-shirt attempted to stop Officer Vieira from detaining the...
Wait, what? What? No, hold on. Let's go and look at the news now shot. Here, we'll go ahead and skip this.
Get your hands up!
What's your name? What's your name?
Hey, hey!
Okay, so no, we gotta look at the other News Now shot. Holy cow! News Now Houston, you're releasing so much videos. Oh man, now I gotta figure out which one is the one that we need. Oh wait, no, I can see myself here. As we sit here and go through each of the these videos and look at it. Okay, can we confirm? Did he do actually interfere and try to block? Doesn't look like it to me, from what I remember. Let's see. Okay, no, his hands are going to be blocking this. Let's just use the Batosai's footage from earlier.
10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4, 10-4,
Okay, go back over to the bateau size footage. Here we go.
He doesn't need a license.
Okay.
Get on the ground.
They converging.
One more time to get on the ground. I'm not going to tell you again. If you have a license to carry, if you have a license to carry a handgun,
He doesn't need a license to carry a
get
rod.
back. Get back. Let me see it. Get away from him.
What crime?
You're interfering with the duties right now.
You have no duty to this. I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Hey! Get on the ground.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he was trying to block at all. So, we get a good idea here. Okay, let's go ahead and go back to listening to this.
The no subject.
Wow.
Yeah, complete lie.
Wow.
F goes on to letter F. Sergeant Ruiz assisted Officer Vieira in detaining the male subject. At this time, the male wearing the green neon shirt and red cap, later identified as Christopher John Grisham, got too close to the officers. Grisham was standing on the sidewalk and then the roadway, obstructing the passageway. He continued to ask questions.
Wait, what? I see him standing on the sidewalk here. And he's walking away. And tell me, is this actually obstructing? You could go around the pole right there. Right there. Oops, okay. Wrong tab. Let's go back.
Officer Vieira gave Grisham several loud verbal commands to step away. Grisham refused, and at this time, Officer Vieira attempted to detain Grisham, but he pulled away, resisting from Officer's command. Grisham pushed Officer Vieira's hands away, striking Officer Vieira on his left forearm, causing pain.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, let's hear that again, and we'll slow that down. That's 75%.
Striking Officer Vieira on his left forearm, causing pain. Striking Officer Vieira on his Grisham, but he pulled away, resisting from Officer's command. Grisham pushed Officer Vieira's hands away, striking Officer Vieira on his left forearm, causing pain.
Pushing. Pushing.
If you have a license to carry a handgun,
He doesn't need a license to carry a rod.
get back. Get back. Let me see it. Get away from him.
What crime?
You're interfering with the duties right now.
You have no duty to this. I'm a law-abiding citizen.
Hey! Get on the ground.
I'm not doing anything.
I am not the...
I'm sorry, I didn't see him put... Oh, guys, am I blind here? Am I freaking blind? Did the guy in the green shirt try to push the officer at all? Am I missing something here? Please tell me. Am I losing my mind? Or is it that the officer's report is telling a Tell me. What is it? Obviously, I'm supposed to believe cops. Cops don't tell lies or anything like that. They don't lie on the police reports, right? So, I must be losing my mind because I'm not seeing Grisham slapping or pushing the officer back as he's trying to walk away. Oh, man.
Oh my gosh.
See Officer Vieira's detailed stuff.
Okay, let me move this back to normal speed here.
So that's attached somewhere on here. Grisham was immediately tased by Valenciano. Grisham immediately crumpled to the ground in a prone position on his back, striking the back of his head on the asphalt. As he was handcuffed...
Wait, prone position on his back. Hold on, I thought prone position had to be done on the front. Let's see, prone... Let's see, front or face downward. Having it... Okay, I guess the prone position can be, according to Wikipedia, on your back. So, except it's called supine, not prone.
In search for any other weapons. Officer Vieira disarmed Grisham. Grisham was standing. Now this is handwritten, so I'm trying to read it. So Grisham was standing in Midway, I guess, on the 11,000 block of Earl, when an officer, gosh, it's handwritten, scribbled. They wrote over the typed part.
Oh, okay.
So, like, it's not legible at all. It's really scribbled. It goes on to G. Sergeant Ruiz immediately handcuffed the male with a rifle. The male was also armed with a handgun, which was loaded with what appeared to be armor-piercing ammunition.
Wait, what? Hold on, let me back that up and slow that down.
Piercing ammunition. We immediately handcuffed the male with the rifle. The male was also armed with a handgun, which was loaded with what appeared to be armor-piercing ammunition.
Armor-piercing. Wait, maybe he didn't have armor-piercing. Maybe it was ballpoint. Ballpoint is still effective ammunition. It's usually, it's cheaper to make. It's not hollow point. It's what? Armor-piercing ammunition. Wow, they're really trying to play it up on demonizing them, aren't they? Let's hear more about this, guys. This is quite the holy cow.
This ammunition will be further investigated. This male was also wearing body armor. It appeared to be the behavior that Grisham was the leader of the group and commanding and ordering everyone involved. H. Dispatch was advised to have EMS arrive on the location to stand by until the area was secured.
Hold on, I'm going to take a quick look at this. What body armor? That shirt's pretty tight to the body. If there was any body armor underneath that, I'm not seeing it. I don't see any body armor on him either. Nothing that sticks out in the clothing wise. And I know what body armor looks like underneath clothing. At best, they might have under armor, which is not body armor. It's just used to wick the sweat off the body, allowing for better cooling. So, what the hell? Let's go ahead and go back to listening to this. Oops, wrong one.
EMS was dispatched due to the male subject being tased and having possible injury to the head. When Grisham was tasered, he dropped his camera, which he was holding. Grisham refused to walk on his own power to the patrol unit. He was secured in Unit 905. As all officers were attempting to secure the area, several other subjects arrived on location attempting to approach officers from all sides. As we secured the area, a female identified as Castro Joanna, date of birth, also placed in custody. Castro had an active warrant which was confirmed. Warrant number, they go on to list that, was confirmed for interfere with duties of a public servant. This warrant was issued on March 22nd by Judge Ramos, CMAG Magistrate. She was secured in Unit number 901. Joanne Castro, when confronted, was blocking the passageway between the Shell gas station and the Tech Guitars. She was placed into custody for obstruction past its roadway. Once the area was secured, SAPD officer arrived on location to assist with officers safely due to multiple subjects attempting to surround all police officers. All weapons confiscated from the subjects were secured inside a patrol unit for officer safety. Subjects were transported to 121.
Okay, so we got the general idea after listening to that. But I'm looking at this, I don't see body armor. And if there was any kind of, at least ballistic body armor, those taser prongs, which went into his back, let's see if we can see the actual angle here.
Get on the ground.
Okay, we'll slow this down so this way we can go ahead. Okay, that's pretty much very clearly lined up on where there would be some sort of heavy kind of carrier. Yeah, okay. So, when it comes to it, if he was wearing body armor, that taser, those taser clips have a very low likelihood of actually getting into the skin and being able to effectively taser him. Yeah. So, there we have it. From multiple angles, from the police report directly from the officer themselves, lying on the report, the ordinance unenforceable in the first place, with especially when they've been warned about that. Yeah, that police department is literally hosed when it comes to civil court. They're not gonna last. That city is gonna be they're gonna be suffering from lawsuits for for a couple of years. They're gonna be paying. I hope they got enough money for all that. Because last time I checked, I think they pulled in $2 or $3 million in tax revenue for that small area. Almost cops may win that fight. I don't think so. They're not going to win a civil suit in this situation, especially how it's been outlined and very well publicized and vocalized to them that the ordinance that they were going after people on is illegal. It's not valid. He didn't drop the camera. It appears to be stroke out of his hand. Yeah. No, let's go ahead and go back and look at the camera being knocked out of the hand here. Whoops, okay, right about here. Nope, he placed it on the ground. Probably from all the pain, but he put it down pretty nicely on the ground, that is for sure. And the main reason why we got the footage off of his cell phone is because he live streamed it. Now, I don't think we'll be able to get the camera... I'm not sure if they've gotten the footage off of that camcorder yet, or if that property's been returned from... I think it was Jim who was holding the camera there and got pushed down and got a broken wrist. Oh, yeah, I would love to see the use of force report on this one too, NJ Diver. But yeah, and yes, as stated earlier, all the charges against these two individuals have been dropped. All the criminal charges. The verbal orders. The verbal orders are not valid, Big E. You can issue orders, but if they are not legal orders, you don't have to follow them. Now, you might have to take that to court, but as is, the criminal charges have been dropped. So that indicates that the orders that they were giving out were not valid to begin with. But boy, oh boy, it's pretty bad. In fact, you know what? Let's see here. Rebel. Where was it? Do I think I'm gonna have to type it on here in my own channel search here. Almost. Here we go. And also, don't forget. Well, we'll mute that and let the ad play out here. But they also had quite the interesting thing to say over the radio. Oh, Pound Sand, I'm not going to obey that order. That's an illegal order. Let's see. I thought I saw a camera go flying to the ground. It must have been from... Yeah, it was from Jim, the guy that had the assault rifle. Well, the rifle there. Not really assault rifle, but it looks like one. Sat there and got... his camera got knocked out of his hand. But let's go ahead and listen to this. Oh, whoops. Hold on, guys. Here we go.
301. I got San Antonio location. We squashed the rebel.
See?
301. I got San Antonio me we squashed the rebel.
You remember that? That was, let's see here, that was back in March when me and Mike Bluehair noticed that and proceeded to start mocking it.
Squash the rebellion. Yes. Wait. I have a little something to play for the lovely, you know, officers of the Olmos Park police station.
Box here. Well, someone did. So yeah, guess what? The rebellion. Well, the Empire lost at the end of the third movie. Pretty much completely lost. So Olmos Park, that whoever that officer was, worst ever comment. But back on to other interesting news, since we pretty much beat to death the whole Olmos Park thing. Let's look at some other interesting stuff. Like, journalists challenge their inclusion on the U.S. drone kill list. This is done by the Middle East Monitor. Two journalists have filed federal court cases against in the United States that challenge their inclusion on the classified U.S. kill list. Reprieve said in a statement. Bella Abdul Karim, an American citizen and journalist working in Syria, escaped being killed by drone strikes. Well, by a drone strike on 5 occasions, including 2 strikes on cars he was traveling in. 2 additional strikes were executed on his independent news agency, On the Ground News, while he was working in the studio. You think you got it bad here at home? Try being overseas. Let's see. Senior reporter with Al Jazeera has appeared in top secret Skynet documents. Okay. Why? I mean, everybody knows Skynet's the big bag boogie AI from the Terminator movie series and comic books and all that stuff. Why the hell are you going to name something Skynet within the military? A U.S. computer program which has classified him as an Al-Qaeda courier based on metadata. Now, if thinking about how they gather metadata now, and they managed to just sit there and say, okay, because we gathered metadata, we consider him an Al-Qaeda carrier. How is that going to impact us back here in the United States? This is, without a doubt, going to spread. And we already started seeing this in a way with the metadata creep of gathering, not just within law enforcement, but within like the commercial aspect. When it deals with where, let's say, Facebook sells your data from Facebook over to the creditor agencies that sit there and look at it and go, oh, well, this guy talks this way or lives in this way or has this kind of lifestyle. Maybe we should increase the premium or the rate, well, the premium on his life insurance. Or maybe we should increase the interest rate on this housing loan he's trying to get. So it won't be long before it will probably be another 5, maybe 10 years, but we're going to start seeing this whole metadata stuff come into play in criminal lawsuits here at home and domestic. Now, without a doubt, I think it's already been in play a couple of times too. Let's see. Bella and Ahmed are journalists, not terrorists. All they are asking for is a chance to prove it, yet the government seeks to deny them that chance. In doing so, he is asking the courts to jettison the very value which sets America apart from dictatorships and despots, due process. So he's trying to push in the court saying, hey, yo, I want to prove my innocence. Because I'm not a terrorist. I'm over here in Syria, and I'm a working journalist covering this stuff, and the government's targeting him. So, hopefully this kind of crap does not happen here in the United States, on our domestic soil, because it's obviously playing out overseas now. Let's see, what do you want to know about Kovlad's? Will probably be Skynet, Wild Terminator. Missed him 5 times. Or maybe like YouTube demonetization your channel when you speak the truth to power. I'm not exactly sure. Let me take a quick look. I'm missing some sort of important conversation here. Obviously within the chat. See case in person. Because it looks a little bit interesting, but I'm not... Dropped the charges last week. Rebellion, never did. Oh, okay, so you're actually talking about the charges. Okay. So in my opinion, luck will run out one of these... one day, those may cause a delay in assisting life-threatening incidents. But getting back on track here... But this is quite the interesting article. I recommend taking a look at it. It was published on May 1st. And... Also, they released some body cam footage from the Vegas shooting incident. But there's something wrong with this footage. Let's go ahead and review this together.
I'm just about to... the Route 91, Mandalay Bay. Mandalay Bay. I'm just about to arrive, so I don't have time to...
Okay, let's...
You guys need to get out and go that way on Las Vegas Boulevard. Towards me, come on. Towards me. Get up, go out those doors, go that way on Las Vegas Boulevard.
Guys, other way, other way. Other way. Turn around.
Keep looking at these people coming out. Watch for weapons. Watch for weapons of the people coming out.
37 29.
Shut down. We got to take up to 29. Then we can take the stuff. Sounds good. See if they can open this. Okay. Each hallway.
Okay, here we go. They get up on the floor here.
We're going.
Okay, here we go.
Each hallway. Got it. Hey. Stairs. Stairs. Each end of the hallway. Okay.
Does anyone know which one faces the boulevard? Reach out.
Okay, I'm moving through.
Quiet. Please. Shut down.
Okay, it's friendly. Okay, we're gonna go back up to 32 if you want to clear the rest of this hallway so we're not aiming guns at each other. Lights clear? The shield, go ahead. No, you just gotta be quiet because he can shoot through these walls. Ready? Metro Police! Police Department!
Police Department.
Metro Police, everybody okay? Okay, lock the door. Your door is open. There's someone shooting inside the casino. Lock the doors. Okay, it's clear?
We're clear.
Cleared yet? Okay. Let me know. Got a lot of clothes and stuff over here.
Now, notice how quite often the camera is looking at the officer's chin. It doesn't show anything. It's not pointing forward. That's the problem here. This body camera footage doesn't really show much because the way it's pointed.
Okay, I'm gonna hold on this door, okay?
Rifle. Move to the right, look, I got a door. Alright, how long? Alright, hold up, move up. See what?
you, with you, with you.
Okay, so it's not literally, you can't really see anything because it's pointed at the guy's chin most of the time. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and quiet that down.
Yeah, he has an intricate camera system set up.
And the thing is the press have been fighting to get the body cam footage from the police when they went in and breached and all that stuff, and obviously they haven't gotten enough of, I mean, the full release of the body camera footage of this incident. I can understand if they got to censor out some stuff, but this is no longer an ongoing, like, case within this spot of what's going on. They should be able to release it. It doesn't hold any, like, investigatory need for being withheld. And this is not only just for, like, Las Vegas when it comes to the public records with the body cams. This is probably an issue for any general thing, because you can't trust that body camera is going to be pointed in the right way or going to be able to properly record the incident, because it might be shifted because either the way the body's positioned, maybe the officer's purposely turning his body at an angle where it's not going to be captured on camera of an interaction that you have. This is why you should record everything. And that's what I want to point out with this. As you notice, most of the time it's been pointed at his chin. You're not able to see anything. He just admitted the guy had cameras set up in the room. Where's that footage? Well, that I'm not even sure if that would be specifically privy for public records on that. But yeah, I would love to see that footage too myself. But it could be... it could be a live feed footage where it doesn't record. It just might have been able to provide a live footage, so that way he could see what was going on at that time. Sort of like backup cameras in the back of vehicles that's being pushed for the past couple of years, where they don't record anything, they just show you what's going on behind you. Let's see here. What was the other things I had? Spy agency triples collection of U.S. phone records, officials report. And let me check Mike Blue Hair's side here. Never seen body camera footage in that exact position before. Neither have I, Aiden. That is quite the interesting position there. And yes, China, no Mike Blue Hair today. Once more. Let's see here. And now, if this is going to get you a little bit on the concern side here, for some of you that are security-minded people. The U.S. The U.S. National Security Agency collected 534 million records of phone calls and text messages of Americans last year, more than triple gathered in 2016. A U.S. intelligence report released said Friday. The sharp increase from 151 million occurred during the second full year of new surveillance systems established at the spy agency. After U.S. lawmakers passed a law in 2015 that's not to limit the ability to collect such records in bulk. So, yeah, they're stepping it up. Let's see here. The spike in collection of call records coincide with the increase in reported on Friday across the other surveillance methods, raising questions from some privacy advocates who are concerned about the potential government overreach and intrusion into the lives of U.S. citizens. In 2017, call records tally remained far less than the estimated billions of records collected per day under NSA old bulk surveillance systems, which was exposed by former U.S. intelligence contractor Edward Snowden in 2013. If you remember that blow-up, that should be a big name to remember. Giant whistleblower. The records collected by NSA included the numbers and time of call or text messages, but not their content. Overall increase in surveillance hauls were both mystifying and alarming coming years after Snowden's leaks, privacy advocates said. Now, keep in mind, it doesn't contain their content, but it contains the metadata. As we refer to with the one guy, how he was with the journalist here over in Syria who's being targeted because of where is it? Metadata. Let's see. Because of metadata. So, since the NSA is gathering tons of metadata, and let's say you hang around someone, all of a sudden you might be suspicious of being a spy or a whistleblower or something, or enemy of the state, just because the metadata, it has you communicating with someone of high importance or something like that. And let's say you're this journalist. I'm trying to get an interview with the enemy, well, with the Al-Qaeda head honchos there. And Zidane was the first person to interview Osama bin Laden in the 1990s. This guy has a history of being a journalist and talking with these people. And if you're trying to get those great interviews, guess what? You're going to have to establish contact with shady people and establish that metadata of who you're talking to and all that stuff with those shadiest people in order to work your way up the ladder, in order to say, yeah, I want to come and interview. I'm not a threat. I want to get your word out and all that stuff and ask you questions so the rest of the world can hear what you're trying to say. Kind of thing. Always speak in code on the phone. So I'm supposed to say, truck, explosive, shotgun. Oh, wait, I think this got demonetized. Oh, well. But, yeah, you get the idea how you can really screw with them. They will change the definition of metadata just to get more data. That is a possibility. But I highly doubt it. It's pretty well explained what metadata is. It's anything that isn't the direct data relating that gives up everything. It's the data that surrounds the important stuff. Let's see. The government has not altered the manner in which it uses its authority to obtain call records. Timothy Barrett, a spokesman of the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, which released an annual report and said in a statement, the NSA found that the number of factors may influence the amount of records collected, Barrett said. These include the number of court-approved selection terms, which could be a phone number or someone who is potentially the subject of an investigation, or the amount of historical information retained by phone service providers, Barrett said. So this is part of the reason why I don't use a lot of the phone for a lot of my direct communications. It's the reason why I use alternative methods. Like, well, Discord, it gets is a way of being an alternative, but it's not secure, it's not private. If you want a voice over IP system to be able to communicate and send messages with, I can tell you Mumble's a great one to have and use. It's clunky a little bit, but it's still lightweight, and you can use it on your cell phone. You can use it on, and you can use it on a computer, and it has end-to-end encryption. So the only weak point is wherever your server is at is going to be the weak point, or someone's cell phone that has access to that server. Let's see. That's why I always take my teeth out when I'm on the phone. Nobody will understand you, and you're cruel. Okay, NJ, I'll click on that link and give me a second. Let's take a look at what the hell this is that you're trying to show me. Oh yeah, speaking of metadata, thank you for leaking that real fast. I almost forgot about that when I was putting together today's thing. NJ Diver actually threw this at me the other day.
This is what that we have down here.
In Pinellas County, Florida, this is how a traffic stop goes. The snap of a picture, the query of a database, and the match of a face.
This is a positive match of her.
This woman was who she said she was, but often the computer identifies a lie and leads to an arrest.
The last one I had, I was telling you about the girl, she claimed to be her sister, and she knew everything about her sister, but when we took her picture and put it into the system, it showed us exactly who she was, and she had 5 outstanding warrants.
Today, the software is good enough to match photos taken across multiple decades and even multiple genders. It's made by a company called MorphoTrust, which counts 42 states as clients, not to mention the FBI, DOD, and State Department. Jim Albers is their senior vice president. I saw this in Minority Report like 10 years ago. What's new about this?
Well, the answer is it wasn't real 10 years ago. It now is real. And some of our customers actually came to us and said, "Did you watch this movie, Jim? Go watch Minority Report. That's what I want."
And the Pinellas County Jail does work a bit like a scene from a futuristic movie.
Sir, please look at the camera.
Scott McCallum, the head of the Pinellas Facial Recognition Unit, used some innocent faces, his employee and our reporter, to demonstrate how they capture the image of everyone they book.
So now what I'm doing is I'm doing a facial search.
Before cross-referencing it with a massive database.
And here comes back a gallery of subjects.
And the catalog of pictures doesn't just make sure the right person is being booked, it can actually help put people behind bars. In Pinellas County, these pictures have been worth 1,000 arrests.
We've had bank robberies, where we have digital video recordings from the bank. Our deputies are able to enroll that image into the system, perform a facial search, and get a match back on the subject of interest, typically within minutes of the occurrence if they're there on scene.
But since not every bank robber has a mugshot and a match can only be made with an existing photo, some states have found another potentially controversial place to build their photo catalogs, at the DMV.
Kendall, just watch this part here.
Today, 26 states are using our license photos when they search for suspects.
If you give up a biometric willingly.
You say willingly, but it could be getting a driver's license.
Yeah, absolutely. That's willingly. You opt in.
So the price to drive a car in most states
is giving up a biometric. That's right. But
is that really voluntary?
I believe it is.
So people could just choose not to drive cars?
They could.
They'd probably also have to choose not to get on a plane or buy alcohol, since a non-driver ID would go in the same database.
You could also make the argument that we don't force you to leave your home every day to go buy a pint of milk. And so if you stay home, then you won't actually have your image picked up by cameras and then stored and recalled. So you have the option of remaining in your home all the time.
Laura Donahue is a law professor at Georgetown.
The reason these types of recognition systems matter is it changes our ability to walk through public space with any anonymity whatsoever.
As a law-abiding citizen, do I have a right to move through public spaces anonymously?
Sure. Yeah.
Is there a risk that this technology could infringe on that right?
Infringe on that right? I mean, when you walk through a public space, you have the right to be anonymous, I believe. Your question's a very difficult one. Am I giving up my privacy by walking by a camera? The answer is, I guess it is.
Are these questions you guys wrestle with at all?
The privacy questions? Yeah. Well, certainly as an individual, I think about
it. Care to expand?
No.
Care not to expand?
No, not really.
Lawmakers have also been slow to weigh in, and the Constitution provides little protection since the Supreme Court has repeatedly found we don't have an expectation of privacy in public spaces.
And so anything that's in public view is considered essentially fair game and not protected by the Fourth Amendment.
All the same, the FBI has insisted their new state-of-the-art database will be limited in scope, as they told Leslie Stahl last month on 60 Minutes.
Will you have a picture of every single American?
No, absolutely not. Just people who have been arrested. There may be no legal barrier, but no legal authorization.
You couldn't just do it because
no, ma'am.
You wanted to.
I would have lawyers lining up outside my door.
And that takes us back to Pinellas County, Florida, where deputies continue to snap the pictures and build the database the feds can't or won't.
My concern isn't so much that the states have gone off on their own, but that the federal government is using the states to help populate their databases. At a local level, a police stop and somebody stops somebody, they collect biometric information which can then be funneled back to the federal government. This area of the law has received very little focus, and it's about to come of age in terms of the technologies that are being developed. So it's particularly important for states and for Congress to take a look at this now before it gets so far away that it's too hard to rein it back in.
Now, I have a question for you guys in the audience. And I'll give this a few minutes to catch up. When was this video published? NJ Diver, you keep your mouth shut on this one. Okay? You know it. You provided it. Don't cheat, everyone. Don't cheat looking at the link. Tell me, in your honest opinion, when do you think this video was published to YouTube? And I'll show you. I want to get an idea. And NJ did come up with a pretty good comment. How many of you guys have renewed your driver's license in the past, I would say 3 years? Maybe 4. Was there a difference between when you did that before? Well, in the last time you did it and the time before that? Let's see, we got over on Mike Blue Hair's channel, Desert Sentinel says 2003. You're too far back, Desert Sentinel. Aiden says 2 years ago. Always cross your eyes when dealing with the law enforcement. Let's see here. Yeah, skip this down over here, so this way. Let's see, masks are not illegal. So, any other takers there? Let's see, 2007, according to Frank. Not too bad. Let's see, 5 years ago was... Rod, you might be pretty close with that. Okay, let's go ahead and take a quick look. 2013, 5 years ago. Next month. So, 2013. Let's see, I live in Florida. They require 3 forms of ID to renew driver's license. Thank you, Dee, for that input. Actually, over here, at least in Alaska and in Oregon, it requires 2 forms of ID. That's a little bit insane that they require 3. Let's see here. And the interesting part is there's been changes with the whole national standard for IDs, for driver's license and state-issued IDs. The information they're required to gather. And then on top of that, the facial biometrics is not the only thing some states collect. Some states, like the state of Texas, if you go in to get a state ID or a driver's license, you have to submit a thumbprint or a fingerprint in order to get it. So guess what? When you tie that picture data, you're also tying it with other biometrics. And let's say you want to go and get a... what is it? You want to go get a passport. Well, you got to sacrifice more. And whoops, guess what? That passport data is now part of that same system. And I got a nice little run-in with this system with just a crappy picture taken of me when the Alaska Rural Police tracked me down. They tracked me down with just a picture, which was quite entertaining. And this was before I think I didn't even get a chance to publish the video when they ended up tracking me down and delivering a letter saying, hey, yo, be aware of this, blah, blah, blah. Here in Ohio, they said they were just going to start mailing them to people after, like, the July 1st of the... Doesn't New Jersey require 3? And the thing is, yeah, the requirements are still all over the place, but they're moving more and more towards a national ID system. And we've already sort of got there with the Social Security number. Though how dangerous and unprotected that Social Security number is, I wish they just revamped the entire Social Security number system to where it actually has built-in protection within the number itself to, how should I put it, to reduce the issue of identity theft with that. And we're just, I mean, we're opening up ourselves to further and further problems with identity theft. So how are you guys going with your stuff? Supposedly people bond out with county jail will have DNA cheek swabs, but I've not been to jail since that. I haven't had to give out any DNA for bonding out, thank us, in Alaska or Oregon. And I do agree. In fact, actually most states have it where if you try to wear a mask while committing a crime, it's an additional charge. That would actually be a better way of going about that, in my opinion. If you're going to use a mask to hide your identity, get locked up for a little bit longer. We do the same thing when it comes to firearms crimes. Let's see here. So, Speaking of collection of metadata and identity information, all that stuff. Well, let's see here. Ed Hartgrove. Really? I'd be walking. I guess I don't have a credit card. Oh, well, you know what's funny? I can't walk to Alaska. I have to go through a border. Or I have to fly there. Or I have to take a boat. All of those require identification in order to go home to Alaska there. Or if you do, Hawaii is the same way. Hawaii, Alaska, Puerto Rico, Guam. Yeah. If you have to go to any of those locations, you require an ID. Now, this was quite the interesting little stumble upon. Virginia Supreme Court says license plate readers collect personal data suggests use violates state law. Now, they end up linking to an ACLU report from the 26th of April. We're going to go ahead and read this ACLU report. When the police keep records of the times and places where our cars have been spotted by an automatic license plate reader, does it implicate our privacy? The question lay behind an important victory that the ACLU won on Thursday in the Virginia Supreme Court. It might seem obvious that license plate data threatens our privacy. Automatic license plate readers, ALPRs, have the ability to capture location data that can reveal details about Americans' religious, sexual, political, medical, and associational activities. Yet we have seen repeat efforts around the country to claim that license plate information does not constitute personally identifiable information, and so it's not worthy of any kind of privacy protection that such information deserves. Let's see here. NJ is with every other renewal must be in person. Let's see. Up in the state of Alaska, actually, you don't have to do it in person because of the remote communities. But I could see them trying to push it where somehow that's going to have to be done in some sort of in-person kind of thing where you got to put yourself in front of a camera. Anyway, continuing on here. Now, Virginia case involved a challenge to the collection of APLR data under the Virginia privacy law called the Government Data Collection and Dissemination Act, which says that personal information shall not be collected by state agencies unless the need for it has been clearly established in advance. The Virginia court rule ordered that police license plate data collection is not exempt from requirements of this law. In 2013, the conservative former Virginia Attorney General Ken I'm not going to try it. Issued a strong official advisory opinion stating that under the law, active, the use of ALPR to identify vehicles that were already involved in wrongdoing was permissible, but that passive use of the device to sweep up raw location data in Virginia residents was not permissible. Nevertheless, in 2014, Harris Neal, a Virginia resident, found that the Fairfax County Police Department was doing just that, and asked the ACLU of Virginia to file suit to challenging the practice on his behalf. Quite interesting. One of the arguments that the Fairfax County Police made in its defense was the license plate number was not personal information. The department argued that the license plate tag is associated with the vehicle, not with a person, and a vehicle can be driven by multiple people. A plate number, it argued, says absolutely nothing about the individual, his personal characteristics, or his membership in an organization. It argued that its ALPR equipment data does not photograph or otherwise identify the owner or driver of a vehicle, and that its ALPR database can only be searched by plate number. So they're literally going around vacuuming up all the data of where they see a license plate and logging it. And so you can pull that up when you type in the license plate number. So if I get, let's say I'm an officer, I pull someone over. Well, I might want to know where they've been in the past week or something like that. I could put that information in there and see, oh, maybe they might be related to a drug bust. Or, well, to an area that's known for drug dealing. They've been spotted constantly in that area. Well, maybe I should search the vehicle for drugs. I just go up. I smell marijuana, sir, and start searching the vehicle. Or I smell something. Or that looks like meth over there on the floorboard. Those crystals, that glazed donut, leftover parts from someone eating a glazed donut from a week prior, 2 weeks prior. I could just come up with all kinds of bad ways this can be abused. Plates are usually related to the owner, which gives person's home address. That is very true, D. Let's see here. But obviously, a license plate number should be considered personally identifying information, while in some ridiculously literally, since it may not describe a person, it functions as an effective index or metadata that allows for law enforcement to learn facts, and potentially very intimate ones, about a person with a click of a mouse. There are 268 million registered vehicles in the United States, but only 221 million licensed drivers, which strongly supports the common sense of observation that most vehicles, most of the time, are driven by the same person, or that most, a handful of family members. Even if there is some fuzziness at the margins about who exactly may have been driving a car in a particular instance, there is a strong assumption that it was the vehicle registered owner. Most people do not loan out their cars often, if ever. Even when it comes to corporate vehicle fleets, a plate number and time of day combined with the fleet owner's records is probably enough to identify a driver. My goodness, we all really need to piss off the cops. Cops is a camera. Yeah, that is very true, Pound Sand. You would think a cop would be an expert at donut recognition. Yeah, but then again, how often do they play it? They play the ignorance card on quite a few issues. Nor does the police department argument hold any weight that the ALPR database itself is not contain names or other personal identifying information. The department pretends that the database exists in isolation, rather than being distributed across increasingly cross-referenced and interlinked sets of data. In fact, in the Virginia Supreme Court could not find information in the record about how the police can link plate numbers with vehicle owners. So in its ruling, it sent the case back to the lower court for fact-finding on that question. But if there is there any doubt that if the police want to identify the owner of a vehicle captured by an ALPR device, they can easily do so. And I highly agree with this. We see this already with the metadata that is gathered for online surfing activities within a family unit. If you gather enough information of a device that is even used within a family of like 4 people, 4 to 5 people, well, 4 to 6 people, you'll be able to identify who's doing what based off their surfing activities and what they're looking at gathered from metadata. And the same thing can be done with a vehicle. Just how we can track a computer user's website browsing history and where they go to and what they're looking at through the metadata that's through cookies that Facebook and any other major advertising company uses, or a data collection center, where I could sit down and if I look at my surfing history that is stored in the Facebook stuff, the Google AdSense stuff, or what was it, Ad Plus, or whoever that's working with Amazon, all of those different companies, I can figure out what my personal likes and dislikes are, what kind of things I'm interested in, what are my politics, what are my personal preferences for food, possibly. And the same thing can be done with this by studying where a person's vehicle is parked and spotted. Okay, they go to the store all the time to pick up groceries. Is it close? They go to this one restaurant. Maybe they have their favorite food over at this Mexican place or this Chinese place. Maybe they like going over to this Mongolian place twice a month. We have an idea. We're starting to get built up of information just going off of where we're spotting this vehicle parked. Maybe they're always over here at this church. Once a week they're over here, or twice a week they're at this church. They're a strong religious person. They're of this faith, possibly. I used to install data lines for NC nationwide system. Oh, that's oh man, yeah. That's quite the big thing. Let's see here. Let's continue on with this ACLU article. Virginia Data Act defines personal information as including all information, affords a basis of inferring personal characteristics. It's becoming easier and easier to connect separate sets of data about people, and data scientists are getting increasingly good at inferring things through fancy analytic technique. So it's good that the Virginia privacy law includes that language, because hidden inferences will likely become an ever-growing threat to privacy. But no sophisticated analytics are necessary to cross-reference vehicle location data and registered vehicle owner datasets, or to understand a license plate location data is personally identifiable and a threat to privacy. The fact that Fairfax County Police made these arguments is a reminder that law enforcement and security agencies will push the interpretive flexibility of language past its limits when they want to preserve their power, something we've all seen with the National Security Agency, NSA. Directors of privacy protecting rules everywhere take notice. So, and the thing is I can sit here and infer where your possible location is just from the ads you might see on YouTube. But that's quite the interesting article. I was thinking of reading through this, but I sort of want to end the day a little bit early. It is the 4th of May with the whole Star Wars thing. I think I might want to go out bar hopping again tonight. I went bar hopping last night. It was fun. No, I didn't stream it because I want to enjoy having fun myself. Ran into a few other people, had fun chit-chatting, played pool, talked with people that were in town for the huge roller derby championship that's going on, which is pretty cool. And so if you guys want to check this out, I'm going to go ahead and post this, the link in the chat here. This is the actual court ruling, so you have a chance to see that. And this will go across all the platforms, or at least it should, as it filters through on all that stuff. But any final things before I do the roundouts here? AK, the phrase is place your hands between your legs and kiss your ever-alone ass. Ah, yes. Tacos tomorrow. Ah, yes, and yes, tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo. In a way, I sort of enjoy having my birthday right around this time, because I got May the 4th be with you right afterwards, the next day, and then Cinco de Mayo the following day after that. 3 days of partying in a way, especially for someone that's nerdy and geeky like myself in a way. Today is the 48 years since the Kent State Massacre, May 4th. Oh, yeah, I remember seeing something about that, Jerry. Bunny Bootsink, a question I don't think I got an answer to the other day. Court case crossing boundaries. Can you expand a little bit more on that, Pound Sand? I may have or may haven't. I can't remember. Let's see. 5th to 6th Circuit. You know what? I'm not able to really remember. You didn't need to tell us where you went last night, Bunny. We could tell by your metadata. That is very true. Oh, my cell phone was on, but my GPS wasn't on. But it did connect to cell towers, so you would be able to reference the general area where I was at. And if the NSA or any security agency is really wanting to do it, they could turn on the phone. Oh, wait. It's a ZTE. That's right. China can turn it on. China knows where I'm at. They know. They're listening in on what I'm doing. That reminds me, I can't wait to get my damn other phone going again. I like the Turner V driver from 5 to 6. Okay, I think you might be referring to using this, like the Turner V driver in another circuit. In which case, you have to, you want to be able to not, you can't just cite one case law out of another circuit. Let's say I'm over in the 4th Circuit. There's no case law when it comes to dealing with the precedent. Okay, like when it comes down to that thing, that argument, just because one circuit says something doesn't mean it's going to affect the other one. But it would say you have 4 or 5 other circuits that say the same thing, then you have something to work with when it comes to that. A ruling in one district is not automatically enforced by another circuit and could be ruled just in the opposite. That is very correct, Jerry. Let's see, you have to go dressed as a Jedi if you go bar hop. The problem is, Frank, I don't have any Star Wars clothing. I would do that so much. I sort of want to go dressed up as like a clone commando or something like that and go bar hopping. But I don't have any of those clothing. I haven't had the fact that I don't have any kind of Jedi or Star Wars kind of clothing. I would so go cosplaying and do that. Now I'll have to wait till next year. Because remember, I've been moving. I have not had a solid residence of a place to really live for more than a year for the past like 3 or 4 years. News now, a hunk of cell phone signal blocking cloth. It actually does work. Okay, that sounds interesting, Ed. Though I think that would kill your cell phone if you're not careful with it. You have to turn your cell phone off. If I really didn't want my cell phone going off or sending me messages and all that stuff, I just turn it off. So you're thinking Nebraska needs some serious auditing. Any advice? My advice for Nebraska: take it easy, edge yourself in. I would recommend, I mean, a lot of people love doing like the post office thing and go inside. Don't do that. Start off filming from the sidewalk, public areas. And just make sure you know your the laws for identification and when you're required to identify yourself. And maybe study up on just double check the trespass laws and see if they're able to trespass you off of public property. Anchorage and a few other municipalities, they have some trespass laws that are like that. In which case, they do have exemptions in them. And I talked with someone about that actually just the other week on that. More circuits agreeing is more persuasive until a circuit decides for itself or the SCOTUS rules. There is no precedent. That is very correct, Murbies. And here's the thing. Right now, SCOTUS is most likely not going to talk about or look at the whole issue of filming. Wear your Middle Eastern attire. Just toss it on with a sash around your waist. Oh, and spray paint. I don't think I might have enough time. It's almost 8 o'clock. And most stores, they close. Well, Fred Meyer's is a good distance away, though. I don't want to paint my cane, though. Let's see. BBI Dancing Stormtrooper. It's more precise, but not automatically agreed to. Yeah, and that is very correct on that part. Yeah, and the thing is, let's say the only way the Supreme Court I can see is really taking up the issue, so there's a nationwide court ruling on that, is if some other circuit at the appeals level says, no, you don't have a public right to film in public. Which smacks in the face of several other circuit courts, and then in which case then the SCOTUS would be okay. We need to look at this most likely, but then even then that really depends on how closely that all connects. All right, guys. Well, it's been fun talking with you guys and all that stuff. But I do got a little bit of sad news. There's going to be changes with strategic non-compliance. I can't say there's going to be another show on Monday or next Friday. Or, I mean, sorry, next Wednesday or next Friday. Mike Bluehair's been increasing with all kinds of issues going on in his life. I can't really speak too much on that, but we'll be we'll do a video about that, talking about the changes. I don't even know where the changes are going to be. Just go naked and tell everyone you're a bald Wookiee. Oh, I so wish I could get away with that one, Jerry. I love that. I love that concept. But I would. Well, the problem is I'm really hairy, so I could just say I'm a balding Wookiee. But as is for strategic non-compliance future, I'm not sure what it's going to entail, but it's most likely going to look at maybe a reduced schedule. I got to sit down and talk with Mike Bluehair about that and what's going on and how we're going to deal with all that stuff. Vincent, message you. Okay, I'll try to remember. I got a lot of stuff going on tonight, so I'll try to message you here in a little bit if I remember. But I do got some stuff to take care of tonight before I even attempt to go out partying or anything like that. Let's see. No closes in OK or in Oregon. I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that, Pound Sand. So let's see. Well, anyway, but yeah, but as is, I can't really say what's going to go on with the future of strategic non-compliance. I'll definitely have a video or a live stream on the coming out about that. As is, I don't think if strategic non-compliance goes down to something where it's like not really happening often, I may do my own show or something like that and bring in more of an audience participation. As is, the future of this stuff is going to be up in the air for the future. But it has been fun doing this stuff, messing around and doing all this stuff with you guys. So I hope you had a good time. Oh, and thank you, TextVet1 and iCaramba for the subscribes there. I just noticed that. I don't know why I didn't hear the noise for those. Maybe my system is screwing up on that part. But hope you guys have a fun day. Enjoy Cinco de Mayo tomorrow. And I will look forward to seeing you out there. Well, I'll be doing some more stuff and cop watching live streams, obviously. So I'll talk to you